Hi, this is Tweek. Today we're going to take one of our cluster balls and turn it into a beautiful nightlight. Join us. Supplies you'll need for this project are: you'll need beads from 18mm size down to 4mm size, your choice of colors, clear and multicolor. You will need some fairy string lights to place inside your cluster ball. You'll need some jewelry wire, and you'll need tools to put it all together. So let's get started. This project is a little easier to put together than it is to prepare for, because I had to make 30 cluster balls to get the look I want for my multicolored nightlight. If you'd like to see how to make one of these cluster balls in a slower motion, check the link here for one of our videos. So let's get started. I wanted to make, these are beautiful clear glass with a fairy light inside. Some of the fairy lights come in multicolor, the fairy lights come in clear color. But first of all, I'm going to I made 30 cluster balls that I'm going to use to make a cluster ball for my nightlight. So let's get them out of here. These are all made of 4mm beads. The way I purchased them, they come in a long string of many colors, all the same size, and I pick and choose. As long as I make 30 of these little guys, that's going to be the start to my cluster ball nightlight. So all we got to do is line them up like we would with a regular cluster ball. And the combination is in my head all the time. I'm lining up the colors in the pattern, the sequence I want. And then I'm going to switch the colors around a little bit. I want them a little bit more random as I put them all together. So the pattern is a 5 beads, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2, then 3 and a 2 and a 2 and a 2 and a 1. That equals 30 beads, but each one of these little guys is made up of 30 beads. So the same pattern goes over and over. Depending on the size of the bead, will give you the size of the cluster ball. So we're going with these little 4mm ones. I would like to switch around. There's a couple of reds over there. I'm just trying to shake up. There's, okay, too many dark ones there. Let's see, let's get a blue over here. You could do all of these in the same color. You could do these in team colors. Ooh, that would be cool. Get your sports team out here on a nice nightlight. Now I've got to check my, here we go, I'm missing one right there. Once we get the sequence lined up, we get our wire. Now we need quite a bit of wire. These are the bigger the beads, the more wire you're going to use. So I'm going to be very generous. I'm going to go a couple feet. Usually I go my arm's length, 2 to 3 feet. And if I have too much, I will reuse the wire, but what I want is to have enough to work with. So I'm going to take the first set of 5, and I'm going to go right in to the center of the bead. Wherever you go in, make sure you come out the other side straight, okay? Because you could get off kilter if you're not paying attention. They fall easily off the wire, but this is the part that goes pretty fast. The beads are easy to handle. See how it took a while to make these 30 cluster balls, and the smaller the bead, the more challenging it is for me. But I think the outcome is really, really pleasant. All right, we got 5 strung on there. Try to get them down to the center of the wire. And now we're just going to buddy up. I'm going to lay this down in front of me. You bring the left wire around, and you go let that wire guide you through the same spot. Okay, and then we have our first pentagon. There we go. Now, right side, left side. We're going to pull down our next 4. Okay, make sure you go right through the center. There's so many little spots where you can go off track on this. And if you do go off track, it just makes the bead will hang more crooked, and I want it to be nice and straight. So straight on through the 4, meet up with the 1 there, which makes a 5, and you bring around the left wire, go through the same spot. Ooh, looks like we're going to have a couple of the colors together. Do we mind? Now would be the time to change it. I'm just going to go with it. It's going to be a random ball of color. Now you're going to buddy up. Go through let the wire guide you. Go through the same spot. And all we're doing is repeating the pattern of a cluster ball. So I'm going to keep going down. Make sure you guys stay in line there. And I'm just going to keep going down the pattern here, and I'll see you on the other side. Now this is how far we are in our cluster ball. And what I want to do is put a cluster ball inside of here that has lights. And that means you have a cluster ball that you've already done, set aside. I think these are 6mm, 8mm beads. And what I want to do is see if that's going to fit in there. So I already had it done up ahead of time, which means we'll have 30 plus 1, that's 31 cluster balls made up ahead of time. What we're going to do here is make sure, and if that seems a little big to me, see if I got a smaller one here. Okay, I like that better. There's a little more space, a little more room, because what I'm going to do is take this little cluster ball, these are a little bit smaller, and this will depend on what size beads you use. You just want the ball to fit comfortably in that spot. I'm going to take that ball and I'm going to add some lights. This is colorful lights. So my fairy lights come in colors, multi or white. That's the one I want, is to use the white. I'm going to leave the light on so I can watch myself wind around this little ball. These are really, really nice to use. Good old fairy lights. Simple LED lights. I love that it has a battery. So once you get this set up, all you do is change your batteries when it dies out. That takes a while with LEDs. But I know I would have my nightlight on a lot. Keep trying not to crimp it up. All right, so we got it straight. Seems like a lot of wire for this little project, but it's all going to look great in the end. So, all right, I'm going to leave a little bit out. Actually, that comes in the end. I'm going to take this end and I'm going to stick it inside of the ball. I could even add some of the wire. I just want that to be secure in the inside. See how it's just floating in there? And now I'm just going to wind around the ball, and the lights will wind with it. I think about this like winding up yarn. I'm just kind of turning the ball as I go. There's enough little nooks and crannies in this, the bumpiness of this cluster ball, that it holds the lights, see? And I'm just going to go the length of this wire. So if you have fairy lights that have a few less lights on them, that's okay. nightlight won't be as bright. And if it seems like your lights are all ending up in the same spot, just flip the ball around to maneuver some more lights in that direction. So now I've got this little cluster ball that's wound up with lights, and I've come to the end of my light string. I don't really have a plan to attach it anyway except just to let it float inside the ball. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it sit there. This little is going to come out here in one of the spots. And now I'm going to carefully continue on with the cluster ball. So where were we? We were right here. The pattern of the cluster ball is 2 more sets of 2 and a 1. So let's keep a little bit of a handle on there. Follow that wire through as we get prepared for the next 2 beads. Okay, now I'm just going to let that wire get folded right in with the beads. And a green one. Oh, wouldn't this be pretty with all red and green like for Christmas? Oh, I can just see myself making a gazillion of these things and sticking them all together. See how we're going to cover that up? Okay, don't get out of sync here. It could be frustrating to use these big beads. But just, you know what, if you have to take it apart, go back. Retrace your steps. We've got 1 more here to add. 4 beads, 4 beads. Let's add this last one. And it's a clear bead. Keep your wits about you. The wire has its own mind. There we go, wire. Okay, now, like I always do on the bottom, I'm going to come around here and I'm going to skim across the top using the wires to guide me through. So I just skimmed along the 5. Give it a couple of knots, some good tight knots. Here we go. Did yours come out a little cattywampus? This is still going to look pretty. That's 2. I'm going to give it a 3rd. Okay. I'm going to cut it. Now where that came out is going to be the bottom of the cluster ball. Oh my goodness, see, isn't that pretty? And then you can turn it off. And I'm going to tuck a little more of the wire into the ball. See how easy that is? So now you have the ball. Arrange it so you don't see this so much. That's behind. Now let's show you the difference here. Now look at this, is just a little bit larger bead. So this is a 6mm bead, and that's a 4mm bead. And look at the size difference. And here again, I would tuck some more of this wire back into the ball. But oh my gosh, so colorful. And then when you add clear beads with fairy lights that are multicolored, you get a whole different look. Again, different sizes. Boy, if you wanted to go bigger, you could make even a larger one, or smaller, more delicate. But aren't those just so pretty? So if you like what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and remember to ring the bell so you know when another episode of Tweaks with Tweek is coming along. And until then, look what you get with a little bit of beadwork, a little bit of fairy lights. It's absolutely delightful. See you again.